Coming up on Signal by Sony, we'll show you how people are coming up with creative ways to use Sony gadgets.
Plus, we talked to the director of Boyz n the Hood on the 20th anniversary of this very influential film. Signal by Sony starts right now.
Hey guys, I am Anthony. Thanks for watching Signal.
And I'm Samia. Now, we have some very unique stuff in this episode. First up, the topic of diving. Now, Anthony, do you dive?
You mean like diving board diving, or you mean like...
You go to dive bars.
I go to dive bars a lot. I think we're talking specifically about scuba diving here, which is something I do not do, but I've read up on a little bit, and one of the occupational hazards of being a scuba diver is the bends. It's what happens when they ascend too quickly to the surface. It's also called decompression sickness, and so you have to kind of go up very slowly when you're deep in the ocean.
Got it. Now, commercial divers who dive and work at, say, 300 and 450 feet have to actually make decompression stops of 2 hours or more to avoid getting sick. So, you know, when you're sitting underwater in the middle of the ocean for that long, it's like, what do you do to pass time? Yeah. Well, Mark Thurlow and Robin Jackaway are two professional divers who actually bring their Sony Reader digital books underwater with them.
Mark and Robin collect deep water marine life samples for a French pharmaceutical company, and they dive all over the world, including the east coast of Africa, Indonesia, and the Caribbean. They actually asked a well-known underwater housing company called Gates to create a special casing for the reader that would protect it at crushing depths. And we've got the actual housing right here. So here's the Sony e-reader, and this is the underwater housing. This thing is intense. You can probably see it's made entirely out of machined metal. It's got all these rubber seals in it to keep the to keep it completely sealed from all pressure, you know, and all moisture. This thing is really crazy. You put the whole thing together with these 4 screws and an Allen wrench. Kind of awesome. Now,
what's cool about this reader is that, or with this housing for the reader, is actually that it was custom made for the Sony PRS 300 reader, and it was the only way to make the housing small enough to fit into a dry suit pocket during the dive. So basically, it protects the reader so you can actually take it underwater. The company Gates that made this said the design could actually be adapted for other readers as well. Now, before you guys get ahead of yourselves, the custom housing is unfortunately not commercially available yet. So
I can think of very few occasions when I would need an underwater housing for my reader.
I don't know, maybe you're swimming in your pool and you want to just go underwater and
I am kind of a klutz, so maybe that would help.
Either way, it's really cool. And you know, this company Gates actually makes a number of underwater housing units for a whole bunch of Sony products like the HD video cameras, including the EX1, which we actually use a lot here on Signal. Yeah. So I have an idea. Okay. I think we need to put this to the test. All right. We can't go diving right now, unfortunately. Okay. For now, why don't we just, you know, head over there. We have a tank full of water set up.
All right, let's get right into it.
Do this.
Tank of water.
E-reader, you ready?
E-reader.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. How cool is that?
Very cool. Guys, do not try this at home. Keep in mind, Sony e-reader product line is not waterproof, and using it in water could void the warranty.
There you go. But not on this one. Not with this case on.
Super cool case.
Fun thing about this case, took 6 months to design, right? Because it's not just designed to be waterproof. It's also designed to be pressure-proof.
What do you mean?
The deeper you go underwater, the more pressure there is, and it can affect the electronic or even crush and destroy it. So, super tough case here. It's actually made of machined aluminum, black Type 3 hard anodized finish, and it's sealed with a nickel acetate process. Ask me what that means.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
You came off as super geeky.
Thank you.
You came off like you knew what you were talking about. And it's the glasses.
Thank you very much. I try. And then the whole thing is operated with these fingertip button controls, the little switches that I showed off over there. So this thing is cool. They're 100% mechanical. There are no electronics in this.
Kind of makes me want to pick up diving.
Yeah, totally, right? You know I wish I had some sort of everyday use for this thing. I can't think of any reason to keep this thing or hold on to it.
It's like super dope. You're like, the only way I can justify owning this is if I pick up diving.
Look at that, still working. Love it.
Very cool. Well, we want to thank Mark Thurlow and Robin Jackaway for sharing their diving photos with us.
Definitely.
Also, a shout out to Gates for letting us borrow their custom Sony reader housing. By the way, guys, if you know of any other unique creative things people are doing with Sony gadgets, make sure to tell us on Twitter @SignalBySony. We'd love to hear about it, and who knows, we might even feature it on a future episode of the show.
Just like that, everybody's internet famous.
Huge.
Love it.
All right now we're going to bring our attention to a very powerful movie that turned 20 years old this year. Sony Pictures' Oscar-nominated film, Boyz n the Hood. Now, if you look at this film, I mean, this is 20 years ago, and they still had an amazing cast. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr., Ice Cube, Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett. I mean, these are heavy hitters in the industry even today, so you can see how something like Boyz n the Hood essentially launched their career. Speaking of launching careers, John Singleton, the director, was only 23 years old when he directed it, and he was the youngest person ever nominated for a Best Director Oscar and the first African-American nominated for the award. Now, to celebrate the 20th anniversary, Sony Pictures Home Entertainment is offering a special edition Blu-ray release of Boyz n the Hood. They actually also reunited some of the cast and crew at this year's LA Film Festival, which is where I got a chance to talk to the director about the legacy of his very first film. Did you have any idea when doing this film that it would have such an impact?
No, I didn't. I didn't think. I just really wanted to make a good movie. I wanted to make the best movie I could, something that would be heartfelt for the people at the time, and that's why the picture endures even today.
The movie showed that kind of poverty, that kind of hunger to escape, that kind of need for family exists everywhere. It's a universal concern.
Hey, yo, wait a minute. Wait a minute, hey.
Man, it's family business.
Wait a minute, hey, yo, what's your problem, man? Y'all are brothers. You ain't supposed to be fighting each other.
And a lot of obviously the actors that are in this film have gone on to have amazing careers. Like, and I mean, you kind of helped launch those careers. How does that feel for you?
It feels phenomenal. It's all of us at the time making the picture, myself, Cuba Gooding, Morris Chestnut, Ice Cube, Fish. We were just so pure, and we just really wanted to make the best movie possible. I think we did that.
Okay, you look at that cast. I mean, the number of Oscar nominees that came out: Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett, and Cuba Gooding, who won the Oscar a few years later, and it's Ice Cube's first film role. And he showed that he took it seriously in a lot of ways that hip-hop actors are being made fun of now. He showed that he was there for real. The impact this movie has, and it happens so much in black culture, has been sort of completely underestimated.
Trey, what are you doing? Huh? Oh, you bad now, huh? You bad. You gotta shoot somebody now, huh? Well, here I am.
When you did this film, obviously you were nominated for 2 Oscars. You did that at a very young age. Do you have any advice for young aspiring filmmakers?
My best advice for young filmmakers is to learn how to write their own screenplays, learn how to tell your own stories so you're not encumbered by someone else giving you a story to tell. You can tell your own story.
If you were going to remake this movie, would you do anything differently?
No, I wouldn't. I don't know. If I was going to remake a movie, I hope I wouldn't mess it up.
Wow, what was it like to talk to the people who were involved with such an influential film?
It was really cool, actually, because, you know, John Singleton directed this, you know, decades ago, and here he is in person talking to me about the film. I'm like, John, you were my homework assignment back in college. Like, I actually had to study the film and review kind of the impact it had on like race and class and issues in Los Angeles. So
I believe it. It was a super influential film.
If you guys want to check it out, the special edition Blu-ray release is available now for about $20 and includes some new extras.
Right, like an exclusive documentary called The Enduring Significance of Boyz n the Hood, with more interviews with the cast and crew on the impact of the film. And it also comes with a commentary track with director John Singleton, audition clips from Ice Cube and other cast members, and deleted scenes. So this thing's packed.
I mean, I actually would get it just for the audition clips of Ice Cube.
Yeah, I bet that's amazing.
You know, for any aspiring actors out there, study Ice Cube. The movie is definitely on the must-see list, and even if you have seen it, it's worth watching again.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Signal by Sony, but if you want to see more of our videos, you can go to youtube.com/signal, where you can post a comment or a question. And if you're an Android user, you can always download the free Signal by Sony mobile app. For now, this is Anthony and Samia saying see you next time.
Yahoo!